Indiana was one game now. The sign of a good team is who can move forward and get to the next one. We have a 24-hour rule, so it's 24 hours, and now we're on to Rutgers. The schedule is going to be accelerated because we're going to, we got to move some days up because we're going to leave on Thursday. We're going to leave Thursday. Usually you leave on Friday, so everything has to be accelerated, so everything's going to be pushed up a day before it's practice. So we're doing it. We're doing that right now. Appreciate the coaches and the players for adapting to what we're trying to do. Questions?
When it comes to player traits, how high does toughness rank on your list, and how tough has Casey been for the first 5 games?
Well, toughness on my list, growing up in my family, you had to be tough, physically and mentally, and so it's number 1 on my list. If I question your toughness, then I can't play you. So if I had a friend and my dad didn't think he was tough, I couldn't hang with that guy. So toughness is high on the Joseph list, so it's high in Nebraska football right now.
How tough is Casey been?
Casey's tough. Casey comes from a tough family. Charles raised tough kids. He's from right there from Oklahoma City, but Casey's been tough. He's been getting hit, but he's been getting up. He's been getting up. When he was down on the turf, he took my arm. He said, "Hey, Mick, I'm going back in the game." I said, "Okay." That's what I expect you to do. They know I want him to be tough.
Mickey, when you watch the tape of the O-line, where do you feel they're at right now? What needs to get better to make that a little bit more consistent up front?
I think they're doing a great job of run blocking right now. We got to work on our pass pro. But I think when you shuffle them in and out, you got to get your best 5 on the field. But right now, I think it's not where we want them at. But they're getting better every day in practice with Donnie. Donnie's doing a really good job of getting them out there, so they're getting better doing it. And as coaches, we got to make sure we're helping them with the scheme.
What do you do at right tackle this week with Hunter Anthony and Bryce Benhart? You rotate those guys, or what's your plan with those guys this week?
Yeah, they were 49 and 44 snaps, so they split it. They split it, so we're going to rotate them again.
How did Hunter do, kind of get his first major play?
I thought Hunter played okay. I didn't think he played great, but I thought he played okay. He held his own. Guys, it's 86 plays in a game. It's going to be some mental errors. It's going to be some physical errors. That's going to happen. Now it's about getting the kid to overcome it and get to the next play. So the big thing, if you do make a bad play, get to the next play. Don't let that one play beat you twice. But I think those 2 kids together, that they can give us a solid right tackle performance on Saturday.
Mickey, did you get a chance? You had mentioned you were going to look at the Turner Corcoran film. You didn't mention if you were going to appeal. Did you get a chance to see the tape yet?
Well, we're waiting on it. We're waiting on the Big Ten right now. We're waiting on the Big Ten right now before I comment on it, because I don't want to say how I feel, and then the Big Ten say something, so I don't want to, get some bad enemies because I said something I had no business saying. So I'm not going to comment it on right now until I let them comment first.
Hey, Mickey, over here. What do you make of the Big Ten West 6-way tie for first place, and the so-called preseason favorite is winless and let go of their coach?
Well, I think it's football that you don't know what's going to happen. I think everything in athletics is day to day, and then on games is week to week. But it's the Wild West right now. Everybody's fighting. But if you look at the games are coming down to the fourth quarter. It's really tough games. It's coming down to the fourth quarter. So we're going to take one game at a time. We got Rutgers, and we got to get ready for Rutgers. But the West is wild right now.
I mean, and given what you guys have gone through and where you want to get to this year, the fact that the division seems to be pretty much up in the air, is that a favorable thing for you given the situation that you guys are in right now?
I think it works in everybody's favor right now, just because it's kind of balanced right now. So I think it works in everybody's favor. But like you said, we're going to take one game at a time, and it's all you can do right now is just worry about getting ready for Rutgers right now, and not worry about what's going on in the West. But I'm sure everybody notices, that it's 1-1 or 0-2. But it's nothing you can control right now. You just can control what you're going to do against Rutgers.
Hey, Mickey, did you notice a different pep in the step after a win? Guys worked so hard and they were finally rewarded with a conference win.
Well, that was the big emotional part for me, was just seeing their faces after the game, because they've been in so many close games that they hadn't closed out. So just the moment in the locker room, seeing the relief on their face, like, okay, we know we can do it. You know, you can always tell somebody, oh, I know you can do it, but if they never do it, then they're going to have doubts. But they didn't have any doubts in the full quarter. We asked them to finish in the full quarter, asked them to strain to finish, and they did, and they won the full quarter. But they practiced that way. They practiced that way for the last 2 weeks.
What was the biggest difference on defense in your mind? What was the, why were you able to force 8 3-and-outs, all that?
Well, Sip, you know, we talked about it last week. We said what we're going to do, get them lined up. Get lined up. That's the big thing on defense. You know, just get them lined up. You know, my brother Vance yesterday, he got his team to line up. When you can get them lined up, now they can recognize what's going on and recognize formation. That's the big key, recognizing what's going on, but you got to recognize the formation. So I thought they lined up, then they played with their hair on fire.
Mickey, you know, in the first few weeks here, I mean, when you look at where the team was and where they are now and the improvements, what do you look at and say that's what I'm most proud of?
That they're trying to be physical. That they're trying to be physical.
Mickey, what have you made of Malcolm Herzog's progress over the last couple of weeks, being Big Ten Freshman of the Week today?
That's a great honor for Malcolm, but we do everything around here with the team. So Malcolm, he couldn't pick that fumble up unless CK blocked it. CK wouldn't have blocked that punt unless we had rush from Taggy and the rest of the boys. So it was a team thing, but we're happy for Malcolm, and we knew Malcolm was going to be a good player. You know, we just had to bring him along, but he's a good player. He's a good young player.
Yeah, did you see a difference in Ty Robinson at all Saturday? Just the motor that he was playing with. It seems like people have been waiting for some of those kind of splash plays for a while from him.
Well, yes, I asked him to cut loose. I said, okay, 99, go back to your old ways, start cutting loose. And I thought he played free, and I thought he played with some fire, because that's the only way that kid can play, is to cut loose and play with some fire. He can't play calm. He's got to be ready, charged up, ready to go, and he did that Saturday, and I'm proud of him for that.
How about Isaac Gifford? He played a lot of snaps out there. What did you see from him?
Well, Giff's a solid player. Giff's a solid player. Giff understands the scheme. Giff plays fast because he understands where the ball's going before it snaps. And Giff's got a lot of heart. Giff's going to tackle you. He's going to cover you, but he's going to play his heart out. He plays hard every snap, but he's a smart football player. He's a smart football player, and he understands what's going on before the ball snaps.
Mickey, the athletic department put out that video of post-game locker room with Trev and you and the celebration. With Trev giving you the game ball and so forth, and saying that this one was for you, I guess what did that mean to you?
Well, I was happy. Like I said, I was happy for the kids and the coaches. You know, I was happy for the kids and the coaches, and I'm always going to be happy for them before me, because I understand that without those guys, it wouldn't be no me. So it was a great accomplishment, but it was a great accomplishment for the entire athletic department, the entire university, the entire state. So it felt good that we was able to get the win, and people can wake up Sunday morning and go to church and have something to talk about.
Mickey, with Friday being the first kind of true road game this season for your team, what kind of response are you hoping to see out of them in a different environment?
Well, I don't think the size of that field going to change. You know, we just got to jump a couple of states. But we still expect them to come out and play with some fire, and we got to get them ready. We got to get them ready for a hostile environment, not knowing what's going to happen over at Rutgers. But we expect them to come there and be a physical football team. We always say the most physical team's going to win the game. So we expect them to get ready this week and get ready to go on the road and play Rutgers.
How did you feel like you and Whipple managed the clock offensively and maybe slowing down the pace?
I thought we did a really good job, because we have, you know, Whipple's been doing it for a long time. You know, so he kind of runs with it sometimes. You know, sometimes I'm thinking it, but he's already thought about it already. So Whippers does a really good job of, you know, running the clock down, and he understands that. And I'll just give him my side sometimes, and most of the time he's going to tell me, no, this is what we need to do.
You said on your show last night that you wanted to run out the clock in the second quarter a little bit differently or better. Would you like to run on that second down instead of a pass?
Well, like I said, I wanted to run. We shouldn't have given the ball back. That's on me. We shouldn't have given the ball back. We should have ran the ball and got out the half 21-14. We gave it back to them. They came down. They did a little pick play, and you know they got it. They got in the end zone. But you know, we should have ran the ball and ran the clock out.
there's a fine line, right, between pick plays and just really well executed throws, but how do you talk to your receivers about that? Because, I mean, you want to try to run plays or kind of rub routes, but that one seemed pretty more egregious.
And we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Coach Garrett Nelson had a pretty solid game. I mean, just another example of a leader kind of stepping up. How important is he to the group?
G's a big part. He's our emotional leader. When he speaks volume. So we love Gary. We knew Garrett. Garrett always comes out and play hard, and he's really more. Now I got to get him to get lined up after he gets a sack because he wants to run around and do his little dance. But I got to get him lined up and get him back because I was screaming, go back and get lined up because they were tempoing us. But you know what? It wouldn't trade that kid. I'm happy to have that kid. That kid's been a day one leader since the day I arrived on campus. And he works hard. He comes to practice every day. The kids follow him, so it's good to have, Gary Nelson's on the team like that.
Anthony's averaged 120 rushing yards per game. Has anything about him surprised you even since camp to where he's at and what he's done?
No, we thought he was probably the best back in the country coming out of JUCO. So nothing surprises us. We spoke to the people from Florida State. They say no, because they tried to get him back. But no, nothing that surprises us by Anthony. He just was a little sore today, so he didn't understand that he had to go get treatment. He didn't know why, but we let him know why he needs to get treatment. But no, there's nothing surprises by that kid. That kid's going to do what he has to do for us to win games.
Is that going to maybe have to be how it has to be to have him carry it 20? He had 32, I think, on Saturday, but is he going to have to be in that 20-some range with carries? Or
I wish I can tell you that, but I can't because we got to do what we got to do to win the game. So I wish I can tell you that he's going to carry it 30, 35 times a game. I couldn't tell you that. I wish I could, but I can't. We're going to do what we have to do to win the game. If he only carries it 10 times and we got to throw it 60, then that's what we got to do. It depends on what's going on with the game. And this week we felt like we had to feed him because he was getting tough yards. He's tough yards.
What's it say about him that he had already had 30 carries by the time he's the lead blocker on Casey's touchdown run, and it was a pancake block that he knocked him down? What does that say about him as a player?
Well, it shows you that this team has bought in about being physical on both sides of the ball. That was what play 80. Yeah, that was snap 80. And you didn't see, so it was a team thing. You seen Brewington come across, and he knocked this guy, right? He knocked this guy off, and then Anthony let up in case he was able to walk in the end zone. But it just shows you that they're trying to be physical. Don't worry if it's play 1 to play 80, that we're going to stick our face in the fan.
You mentioned that, we might see Chuba in more of those situations like you used him on Saturday night. How did he bounce back from that series that he had, which obviously didn't go the way that he wanted?
He's got to have a quick memory, just erase it and move on. Like it's what I said earlier. We got to learn to move to the next play. You couldn't let that play beat us twice. So he was ready to go back into the game if he needed to. He understood what happened. He held the ball. You got to put the ball away. You're going to take the sack, take the safety, and don't give him a touchdown. But he understood that. That's giving him game reps. He needs game reps.
Did your second game on the sideline in charge feel any different? Do you feel more comfortable in the game?
Yeah, like I said before, it slowed down a little bit. Slowed down more. The referee knew my name this time, so that was pretty cool. And I knew his name, so it still didn't help. I still got a lot of flags, but it was slowed down a little bit. And it was just coaching the kids the same way, coaching them and staying engaged with them. And I thought the coaches did a really good job of helping me do that.
What do you see on film about Rutgers' defense and also its offense?
Rutgers had a really tough defense, really good against the run. I think they're only giving up 292 yards, something like that a game. But Busiciano, he's going to build his thing on tough. And if you know the one thing about him, he's going to have tough football teams. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a 9-on-7 drill.
What is the toughest thing about getting ready on a short week for a game like this?
Just trying to get the bodies back and trying to get the mental work up. So you got to try to get the bodies back and you got to try to get the mental work up because everything's accelerated.
Coach, you said that the reason why you put Chuba in is because you wanted to have Casey kind of see things from the sideline. How do you think that affected him from the next drives on when he went back on the field?
Casey?
Yeah.
No, Casey was okay. Casey was okay with that. He came in yesterday. And we sat down. One thing that kids can do with me, we can talk, and they can tell me how they feel. And he didn't want to be taken out of the game, and he expressed that. I mean, he let me know, like, I didn't want that. But then I explained to him why we did it, because I'm always going to explain to him why, because it's a why generation. So he wants to know why. So I told him why, and he said, well, I don't want to do that again. I said, well, I don't want to do it either, but if I have to, I will, because I'm going to be consistent with him. I'm not going to be wishy-washy with him. I'm going to be consistent with him, what I'm saying. He's no different than anybody else. If we think he's struggling, he's coming out. That's anybody. That's the way you got to run your football team. You can't treat him any differently. He don't want to be treated any differently. But he expressed how he felt, and I appreciated that. But at the end of the day, he understands who's the coach.
Hand out any black shirts after that one?
No.
There are a lot of recruits in town this weekend. What kind of a can you get from them seeing an atmosphere like that on Saturday night?
It was great for them. It was great. They stayed. Some of the families stayed back to visit with me after the game, and some of them stayed late as 11:15, 11:30. So I thought it was a great atmosphere. I thought all the commitments were solid. So I thought it was a great night for them to see us play.
What did you think of the light show?
The light show. Oh, the 4-quarter light show. Oh yeah, it's nice. I mean, I was trying to do about the light show. I mean, yeah, it was nice. I think it's nice. I think, you know, I got other things on my mind than that light show, you know.
All right.
Thank you. That was a good one, though, the light show.
Planning to have Travis Robles and Casey Thompson.
Hey.
All right, questions for Chris?
You've been moving around a little bit so far this season, the first 5 games. What's it been like to A, move to nickel, then B, move back to inside linebacker, and do some of the things you had to do?
It's good. I actually really enjoy moving around positions. I feel like on the field I'm kind of a versatile player. I can do a lot of different things on the field. Really just trying to help this team in any way I can. And right now my role, that role is kind of moving around a little bit, playing some different positions, doing what I can on the field. I enjoy moving around because I know all the positions. I only really got one class right now, so I have time to learn all of them and you know, do that. So yeah, it's good. I enjoy it.
Chris, from what you saw, why did it appear you guys played faster and tackled better than Saturday?
A lot of it is just a mentality. It's a mentality. You know, we switched up the defense a little bit, but we were just ready to go fly around. I thought we tackled really well, played really well as a defense, and it was fun. We had a lot of fun out there. So.
What did you see on that pop block?
What did I see? Our new special teams coordinator, Joey Connors, he drew up a really good play. He knew that they were going to block down the way they did, and he was pretty sure I was going to come free, so he was letting me know before the game, like, hey, like, be ready, and we called it, and you know, I really just stared at his foot the whole time, and then went and took it off his foot. So.
Is that specifically a schematic thing where you're talking about being able to make a move to the ball exactly the way you played?
It wasn't like how I did it wasn't necessarily talked about, but the way that everybody was lined up and the way that we all attacked it, yeah, that was the scheme of it, yeah.
That was the first unblocked touchdown here in 13 years.
Was it?
I
That's
know you've
awesome.
only been here a couple of years, but
Yeah.
you know, like just in your experience, like something like that on special teams was a long time ago.
Yeah, it felt really good. It felt really good just as a team. I felt like that changed the momentum of the game in a lot of ways and changed the energy of the game. And it's like you said, 13 years is cool to be a part of history like that.
What was it like first game under Bill Bush as defensive coordinator? What were some things you liked, or just some differences that?
You know, I don't even need to talk about differences necessarily, but just the energy that he brings every day. You know, he's someone that's always talking, which, you know, he kind of can get on guys' nerves at times, but it's a good thing. Like, it really ends up being a good thing because he's just talking all the time. He's always getting on guys, whether you're doing well or you're doing bad. He's always getting on guys, getting guys better. He wants his team to win really bad, and he brings a lot of really good energy to this place.
Chris, how important was just winning a game against a big opponent? I mean, how much the confidence?
Yeah, it felt really good. You could feel the whole team build that confidence, especially as the fourth quarter went on. The defense didn't let up very many yards, I think. Obviously, we didn't let up any points, but not many even yards. And you could just feel that confidence building as the fourth quarter went on. You know, around here, I guess I was only here last year. That was my first year here, and we kind of were in a lot of close games in the fourth quarter, and a lot of them didn't go as well. So to get that ball rolling in the fourth quarter felt really good. And you just felt that confidence building as that quarter went on, and then, you know, hopefully we can kind of bring that into the rest of the season.
What's the key to taking on the road the way you guys played here at home?
I don't even think a road game is much different. I know the coaches do a really good job of keeping us kind of in the same routine. Even when we're here, we stay in the hotel the night before the game, so we do have kind of the same routine. We eat the same meals at the same time, same meetings at the same time. So it's really a routine. We do the same things. So I really don't feel a huge difference on the road other than them taking a plane. But really, it's just bringing that energy. It's bringing that energy every day. What can us as individuals do to bring that energy to the field?
How does a Friday game, you know, instead of Saturday, mess with that routine?
It's just a little different. We had practice today. Usually we wouldn't practice today. So your body's feeling a little stiff. That's really the only difference. But by Friday, we'll get that back, and I'm excited about it. You know, I guess in high school you always played Friday Night Lights, and that's kind of what this is. I guess kind of a little nostalgia there, I guess. But yeah.
Have you ever been to New York?
I've never been like East Coast at all, really. I grew up in Michigan, but I'd never really been East Coast besides, I guess, Florida.
Back to special teams. I think you guys felt like you had a lot of good parts going, but how big a deal was it for that group to get that sort of game-changing play, see it happen? You know, can that be a boost going forward?
Yeah, we had definitely talked about getting that game-changing play because when you get that game-changing play on special teams, it flips some energy and the momentum on the team. So it's just a whole as a team that brings the whole team up, I guess, and that's definitely something we can bring forward. And everybody understands now the importance of special teams. Understands the importance of making a play like that or making a play like that on a different phase of special teams. So just the importance of bringing that energy to the game because it brings the whole team up, and we can continue to do that.
How many quarterbacks are you preparing for?
How many quarterbacks are we preparing for? You know, I know they got the kid that transferred from here. I didn't really know, but they got him, and then they got a couple more. They run a little Wildcat, too. They run a lot of different personnel groups, so we do have some preparing to do for sure. Looking forward to the challenge, yeah.
They're kind of known for doing trick plays. If you guys talked a little bit about the kinds of things they'll try to do.
We went over some of the issues today in practice. We went over that. That was a big emphasis today. We went over some of the issues that we might be presented with. But I think we'll be prepared for it by Friday.
Chris, what's Joey Connors been like to kind of be playing for?
Joey Connors is a good guy. Joey Connors really knows what he's doing. He's stepped up really well. He's kind of like he kind of gets a lot from Bush in that way where he's kind of a young guy. He's kind of like closer to our age than Bush's age, and he kind of brings a lot of that same energy that Bush brings. And he kind of relates to us well because he's more our age. So we just go in there and talk to him a lot and you know, just talk about the scheme, talk about what we're gonna do. So he's brought some good things to it.
Players kind of like that, having a coach like a little younger you can relate to.
It's just something a little different. I wouldn't say it's better or worse. I just think it's something a little different. You know, he doesn't have as much experience, obviously, being a coach. But then he was a player, under 5 years ago. He was at UCF, so he kind of understands where we're at, and he can kind of relate to us in a different way, in that way. So it's just a little different.
Chris, when you look at the Big Ten standings in the West, with six-way tie for first place, even though it's early, and Wisconsin was the favorite for 0-2, and they just let the coach go. Given where you guys have been and where you probably still like to go this season, is this a favorable year for there to be such disarray in that division? I
think any year is a favorable year for it to be some disarray, especially when you start 1-3. you want that opportunity is what at the end of the day you want that opportunity, and we're still in it obviously. We're trying not to look too far ahead, but yeah, if we handle our business, we control what we can control, and we can end up where we wanted to be at the beginning of the season, and that'd be amazing.
Pretty jubilant being in the locker room after the win, and of course, Mickey Joseph getting involved. What was that moment like for you guys as players?
That was really amazing because we just haven't had a close win, like a close game. Last year, I think we won like the wins we had were blowouts, and this game was a close win. And that's just a different feeling where it's, you know, kind of tense the whole game, and everybody's really focused the whole game. And then you get that win at the end, and it's that's what you saw at the end, is everybody's letting go of that tension, and it's just all the energy flowing out in the locker room. And yeah, it feels really good to kind of win that close game.
You guys had a quarterback last year who played through a lot of injuries, and it feels like Casey Thompson's kind of starting to go through some of that too. How much inspiration does the team get when a quarterback clearly is playing through some getting banged up?
Yeah, he's doing a good job right now. It's fun to watch him play. Because kind of as the season goes on, everybody gets those nicks, and we're all kind of going through that. So to see your quarterback going through it, everybody's kind of going through the same thing. So yeah.
I know he's a different position, but you know, Hartsock picked up the fumble after the thing, and he had a big weekend.
Yeah.
Was he a guy you noticed at all? I mean, even though he's in the DB room, did you see that he could be a player this year?
Yeah, he's a really good player. It kind of started where he would get some reps on special teams. He was starting to get reps on special teams a lot as kind of camp went on, and then, you know, as time went on more and more, he started playing better. And when you're a freshman, when you get here as a freshman, you just have to learn a lot. And he picked things up really fast, and I was excited for him on Saturday. Yeah. All right, guys.
Cheers.
Coach Joseph described you kind of going into his office yesterday and saying, hey, I don't want to be
pulled out of the game, and then he's pretty honest with you. He doesn't want to do it either, but he will if you have to. Like, what's it like to have a relationship with a head coach like that? How did you process that sort of brief departure from the game in the second quarter?
Like I said, Mickey Joseph is a big reason why I came here. So I've had a relationship with him for a long time. He's known me since I was a kid. So him and my dad have a really good relationship, really good friends. They've known each other since they went on recruiting trips in college. So I've always felt like that I had that relationship with Mickey. So we have a lot of conversations on a daily basis in his office, on the sidelines. But he's hard on me. He's always hard on me, and I'm hard on myself. But I told him, and I don't want to be out of the game if I'm healthy enough to play. If I'm pushing through injuries or pushing through stuff during the week and practicing, and I don't even like whenever they don't even give me like a certain plays. They put Chuba or Logan in. Me personally, I'm just a competitor. I don't ever want to be on the sideline. I always want to be in the game. So he understands that, and he said it's good to be that way. But anytime that they, even whenever I went down, landed on my shoulder and came out the game, I told them don't take me out. Not even for one play. They end up doing it anyways. So they heard about it, but it's all good. I mean, it was just something that we played 75 to 80 plays of offense. They don't want me taking a lot of hits, like I talked about before. So they don't want me playing every single snap the whole game. So I understand that we have to play multiple quarterbacks, especially Chuba and Logan, with them being fresh bodies and them not dealing with injuries and not being banged up. That's something that they're able to provide as well on Saturdays.
Did you just run onto the field then? Like, so Chuba went out there and ran a play. Then did you just run out there, or did they tell you to go out there?
No, I told him when I came back out of the tent from seeing the doctor that I was going to play the rest of the game. I told Coach Whipple, and he was like, okay, you're back in. So he said that Chuba was only going in for one play. They wanted to get Chuba a little bit of action, like I said. Chuba and Logan have to be ready to play at any point because your starting quarterback can go down at any point bearing injuries. So I understand they have to get those guys some gain reps, and so you guys have kind of noticed throughout the season we've been giving those guys some gain reps here and there in pretty live situations, no matter what the scoreboard is. So I understand, like I said, why we have to play multiple quarterbacks, especially with me being banged up from week to week. The bye week helped a lot, but like I said, I've been pushing through some things last few weeks, so I understand why they're doing it.
You guys are 2 games into the Big Ten now. Just how wide open does the West feel, knowing Wisconsin has fired their coach this weekend, and a lot of other things have happened that nobody could have predicted in the West?
I mean, we know we have a chance every week, but the Big Ten West is it's a good spot to be in right now for us. But we're just focused on Rutgers, obviously. Last week we're focused on Indiana, and then you see the scores and stuff every Saturday in college football is crazy. I kind of talked about that before, so you never know what can happen, and we're just ready to go out every week and compete and focus on winning each conference game one game at a time. We can't focus on what's in the past, but yeah, I mean, the Big Ten West is wide open right now, so we just have to continue to stack days ahead of us and just take one game at a time. So that's what the focus is now.
How does your shoulder feel right now?
My shoulders, my body overall just sore today. I've seen a lot of things last few weeks. First few games, like the Northwestern game, I was fine. Obviously, the first game of the season is the best your body will feel the whole season. Ever since then, I've been pushing through some things. I think I had a left calf contusion, hip pointer, left wrist sprain 1 week. I had an AC joint. Obviously landed on my shoulder this past game. Just dealing with some stuff. I think 2 games this year I took a couple of hits to the jaw. So just dealing with the sore jaw, just stuff throughout the week that, like I said, I'm having to manage and deal with. And so that's why it's really important that we have every quarterback ready to play just in case something happens. But this past game, I just landed on it. Obviously, it's painful. It doesn't hurt for me to take hits, but it's the worst whenever you have 300-plus pound linemen plus my body weight landed on top of my shoulder. There's not really pads or shoulder pads that are meant to, bear that kind of weight. So I just landed on it, and I threw today, and I practiced today, and it was fine. Like I said, we just have to continue to monitor the hits that I'm taking and just continue to get treatment and just trying to stay healthy 1 week at a time. But like I told him, Coach Joseph, I'm not coming off the field unless it's a season-ending injury. So if I'm going to practice, then I'm going to play in the game.
Casey, did you kind of talk with the offensive line? During the game, and you were getting chased around, you took a couple of hits. So what are those conversations kind of like?
Yeah, no, this past game, they were actually pretty good. We rotated a lot of guys, and we had a lot of guys playing in a rotation, but I feel like they gave me a good time in the pocket this week. I took a couple of hits, but I think I've had a pretty clean pocket. I just always try to motivate the guys and encourage them. And then whenever it's about to be a big play, I'll tell them, like, this is going to be a touchdown if you guys give me, 2 or 3 seconds or whatever I tell them that we need. They do a good job, and so I was very proud and happy for the guys that got to play on Saturday, and I thought they did a pretty good job. And then what I do tell them, like, sometimes I talk to Coach Joseph, and during the bye week, and we kind of talked about ways to approach the offensive line. It's easier to tell the offensive line and my teammates, what to do or what I need instead of telling them what not to do. I think that helps for sure. So a lot of times I just tell them, hey, I need 2 seconds right here. Hey, I need 3 seconds. Or I'll tell my tackles, try to work inside out and, make them rush around the edge so I can step up, things like that. So I always just try to, stay on top of them. But that's something that Coach Joseph wants me to do more. He's challenging me to be more demanding and be more vocal with those guys. I'm always communicating with the whole offense, but he wants me to get on to them harder during the week at practice, so that way on Saturdays they're used to it, and that way I don't have to say anything. And then he said when he used to play quarterback, he used to make comments like, when you get knocked down to the ground and the O-line comes to help pick you up, he goes, tell them that you shouldn't be on the ground in the first place. So those are things that he wants me to say things like that. I told him I'll be more demanding, but I'm gonna do it in my own way. I don't cuss guys out. I don't scream in their face, but I'm just gonna do it in my own way.
Casey, he was only throwing about 12 passes a game. He was throwing about 45. So, what's it like to run against a pack behind kind of a different offensive line every half? It's kind of been the case.
Honestly, I know there's like every other play or every quarter. Sometimes when I watch the film, there's different O-line in the game, but I don't know. I'm just trying to focus on reading the defense and going through my progression. And then I don't stare at the rush, but obviously I can feel when a guy gets close. It's like playing tag in the backyard. When somebody gets close, you kind of flinch a little bit. So just trying to maneuver in the pocket, but I want to stay in there as long as possible. Like I said, the last few weeks before this past game, Georgia Southern, OU, and even this past week, been dealing, like I said, I had a calf contusion, so it was limiting me during the week at practice. I didn't run full speed for a few weeks, and so, but now my body feels better now. Coming off that bye week, I feel more healthy and fresh. So being able to get my legs back will be great. So that way, when the pressure does come, I'll be able to escape and run out of the pocket and maybe take off a little bit more too. No, just I would say a few times in the last few games. Really throughout this whole season, I've done a good job of getting the ball out on time and making reads, so that way we don't take sacks. But yeah, I would say I've had a few plays this year, particularly in the last few games. Like I said, just standing in the pocket and maybe holding on to it a little bit too long, but that hasn't been an issue. So I try not to worry about that and make it a bigger deal than what it needs to be.
Some guys aren't maybe built for tough critiques. Does your experience help you, like with that in game when it gets a little fiery and stuff like that on the sideline? Is that useful that you've been around the block?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was harder on me than any coach that we have here, so I'm used to that. He used to get in my face when I was a kid growing up. When I was like 5 or 6, 7 years old, he was hard on me, and he was always in my face and always just telling me what I need to hear. But no, I mean, it doesn't matter what a player or coach says to me, and I feel like if anybody has the competitive spirit and wants to win and is a self-motivator, there's really nothing that anybody can say or do, regardless of if it's family, friends, a coach, a teammate. There's nothing that anybody says to me on the sideline that's going to make me go up or down. You know, I always try to stay even keel. Like I said, I even told Coach Joseph I'm fine. And at that point in the game, whenever I missed a read and Coach Whipple got onto me, I told him after the game, I was like, I was 6 for 7 with 1 touchdown. It was the second drive of the game. I'll be fine, you know. So, no, I feel like that I'm fine. And having those game experience reps and, you know, dealing in the fire, there's nothing like live action in the games, you know, when bullets are flying. So having experience for sure and having those starts last year definitely helped. So, but I personally, I'm a player that wants to be coached and I want the feedback. So I'd rather a coach be hard on me and give me direct feedback and tell me exactly what it is that he's expecting and what he's looking for and demand it out of me instead of being passive or being quiet and just not saying anything at all. I'd rather be coached hard.
That idea of monitoring the number of hits that you take throughout the season, as you've started to watch tape in the Big Ten, you know, you played 2 Big Ten teams, and I'm sure you've seen some others on tape now. Do you get a sense of how that might grow in importance when you get into the teeth, start to get into the teeth of this conference, and if it's, you know, somewhat unique to the Big Ten just because of the physical nature of the league?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning as on the go. You know, I'm used to. I mean, last year I had 10 starts, but it was all in the Big 12. A lot of people don't give the Big 12 credit. They have some physical defensive line and defenses there as well with Oklahoma State, Baylor, TCU. You know, had to play against guys like O'Shawn. He's real fast. He's big. So I would say that the Big Ten Conference is, so far from what I've experienced, has been very physical. We know it's going to be a long season, and every Big Ten game is going to be physical. So at this point, just getting, you know, into week 5, week 6, week 7, still being able to play and be healthy throughout the week is important. But the first few games, really just trying to get past like the North Dakota, the Georgia Southern. Didn't want to get banged up during those weeks because we know the Big Ten play is going to be a long season, 8-game stretch. So, yeah, I would say it's a physical game for sure, but I feel pretty good about where I'm at right now. And I know we've had some guys go down here or there, but we're in a pretty good spot so far. And we're pretty healthy. Like I said, that bye week really helped us out a lot across the board. So I feel good right now, and like I said, I'm ready to go every week.
Generally speaking, Casey, what's your philosophy for playing well on the road? And have you ever been to the New York City area?
Yeah, I've been to New York one time. I actually went on New Year's. I went for my first time ever going. Some of my high school friends went, and they were like, "You should come to New York City." So I flew there for a couple of days. Went to Miami and New York, kind of just by myself, and then I hung out with my friends there. But no, it was cold when I went. I remember that for sure, and it was real crowded and congested. But like I said, every game to me it's the same 53 yards wide and 120-yard field. So to me it's all the same. But playing on the road, I think we'll be fine. The challenge this week is just playing on Friday. But no, I think we'll be fine playing on the road. I love road games. I like wearing the white jerseys, and I like plane rides. So it's just another game for us, and I think that we'll be fine. Like I said, it's just a shorter week, so have to get our bodies back underneath this and our legs back. But I'm excited to play on the road.
Hey, Casey, when you said that you tell your offensive line, hey, give me X amount of seconds, is that kind of the conversation you had before that long pass to Trey at 71-yarder? Like, do you remember specifically?
No, I didn't say anything that play at all. I was just trying to get everybody lined up. A lot of the adversity that you guys were talking about during the game is there's just a lot of things that are happening on game day that you can't simulate at practice, with alignment issues, with penalties, with emotions running high, with playing a lot of the guys, rotating different personnel to, maybe getting yelled at by the coach. Everybody's wired up and everybody wants to win, and I think sometimes it's my job to kind of stay poised in those situations and instill confidence and poised to the line of the offense. And they always talk to me and say, just stay poised and stay calm. On that play in particular, I didn't really say anything. It was like 3rd and 9, so I just dropped back, took a 5-step drop. I saw Trey beat the dude, I think, like way before he even ran past him, so I just let it go, and then he ran underneath it. So it's pretty cool play, and like I said, I was definitely happy for Trey. But no, in the fourth quarter, I texted Brant Banks after the game. I was definitely happy for him. He came in the game and he played well, didn't give up any sacks, and so I congratulated the O-line, and they're excited to go out to eat for the first time in a long time. So we're going to go to Momo's Pizza at some point this week, and then they want to go to eat again after Friday's game to celebrate as well. So every time we win and anytime the offensive line does a good job, they want to be rewarded. So I'm just going to take them to eat again.
Where'd you go?
We're going to go this week.
Okay.
Yeah, we're thinking maybe Momo's Pizza or the Venue or something like that, but I don't know. We'll see. They'll eat anything though.
All right, thank you, Casey. Finish up players here with Travis Copeland.
Travis, I'm curious, it's been a number of years since you played at Rutgers, but how many guys are still on that team that you played with that you kind of keep in touch with?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun trip back to New Jersey, something I've been looking forward to for a while. I know a couple guys on the team. A lot of them are gone now that I was close with, either graduated or transferred out. So I've been in touch with those guys that we're going to see Friday, and been talking a little trash with them. But I'm looking forward to getting out there and the challenge of the game this Friday.
Travis, after getting that first Big Ten win, what has that kind of done for your mentality?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, the mentality hasn't changed. We want to go 1-0 every week. We enjoy the win for 24 hours, and then move on to the next game, the next challenge. So it hasn't changed much. Can ask all the other guys. We just want to go 1-0 every week. That's a goal, and really excited for this challenge this Friday.
With a short week, how important is rest and recovery and making sure you're getting your? I mean, talk to Chris, talk to Casey. They both said they were feeling a little extra sore because the schedules moved up. How important is that?
Yeah, it's super important. Coach Mick has done a great job emphasizing, how important it is to get in the training room, to get treatment, do any extra stuff. If you're not studying for school or for the game, get in the treatment room, get in the pools, do all the extra stuff you can. So it's super important. Guys are sore, but everyone else is sore that's playing right now. So we just got to deal with it and get as much treatment as we can and get ready for the game Friday.
You were out there in 2020, right, for that game?
Yes, yeah.
How strange was that atmosphere that night?
Yeah, it was different. That was a COVID year. So we were playing in like the middle of December with the whole schedule changing and everything. So there were still, there were more guys then that I knew. But it was different. It was cold, and it was a very physical football game. So Coach Mick has done a great job emphasizing the most physical team is going to win this game Friday. So that's something we really want to focus on this week, is just being physical and everything we do, and being fast in everything we do.
Do you, as captain, do you see that the physicality quotient has changed in the last 3 weeks, and in what ways?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think we've been a physical football team this whole year. There's always times we can improve on being more physical in everything we do, being violent in everything we do. So I think we've, each week we've gotten better. We've been more physical. We've played faster and played with more violence each week. So we just got to keep stacking those days and stacking those weeks to be better in everything we do every week.
Travis, is Mickey and Whipple, are they kind of emphasizing blocking more of the tight ends? I mean, you saw Chancellor's huge block, and you had a few as well. Is that something they're kind of putting a lot of emphasis on?
Yeah, Brew is, he's kind of gone crazy on Twitter with everyone recording all his videos from last year and this year of him destroying guys on the perimeter on those wind blocks. But Brew's a great player. We're tight ends. We got to block in. That's something unique about being a tight end is we got to know the whole offense. We got to know all the run plays, know all the pass plays as well. So, I wouldn't say that's something they're emphasizing more. We got to block when it's time to run, and then we got to run routes and catch balls when it's time to throw the ball.
Travis, there was so much optimism about the defense, even back in fall camp. You saw those guys all off season. Was that more on Saturday what you guys had kind of seen before the season started?
Yeah, we go back and forth in practice with the defense, always trash talking and stuff. I thought those guys played a great game. Those are my brothers. I got their back. And obviously, we as a team haven't played up to the standard in the past couple weeks. But I thought they stepped up and they played really well. So I'm super happy for those guys. We just got to keep building, both on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball each week.
Travis, what does it do for the psyche of this team to finally win one of those close games, given the way things have gone in the past 2 seasons for you guys?
Yeah, it's huge. Now that we, finished a close game, guys can see that it can be done. So that definitely gives us confidence. And, we understand that, we've done it once now, so now we need to do it for every game, in situations that arise where we have to finish football games. So definitely a confidence builder.
What was that moment like in the locker room after the game when Trev came in and Mickey became ball?
Yeah, it was awesome. I love Coach Mickey. The players love him. Love everything about him. So it was awesome. We just got to get him a couple more wins now. So.
Anything else? What have you seen from Casey in terms of just playing through injuries? Because I know a lot of players do that. What have you seen from him at that spot?
Yeah, Casey, not only Casey, there's multiple other guys on the team, like you said, are playing through injuries. We're a tough football team. We're a tough and confident football team. We got some really hard-nosed guys, that, really push through injuries. And, going back to treatments, that's just something that we really have to emphasize, not only this week, but throughout the whole season. It's just taking care of our bodies, and that's a big thing of, playing college football. Every team deals with that. So, but, yeah, we got some tough dudes on this team.
What are the challenges of Friday night, and do you like playing on Friday night?
Yeah, it's different. Obviously, we're short a day. I don't care when we play. I just want to play football, and doesn't matter the day, the time, or where we're at. Wherever we're playing, it's a challenge, and we're ready to attack the challenge.
What are some of the biggest cultural differences just living life out there versus here?
Yeah, it's totally different. It's fast-paced. A lot of people, very diverse. The food is awesome out there. If you guys are going out there, make sure you get a chance to get out to a pizza spot. The slices are like this big. You eat 2 of them and you're full. But yeah, it's very different. I love the Midwest. I enjoyed my time out on the East Coast, but glad to be back in the Midwest. Glad to be on the Nebraska football team.
All right, thanks, Travis.
Perfect.